Okay. So why do some people are fond of electricity bikes?
Electric bike. Well, I guess it's because of the convenience of it, right? You don't have to use your leg
Okay.
to make the pedals move, I guess. So it's a lot less effort. And generally these days I feel like people just are less prone or less excited about doing physical activities in general. So that's probably the reason why electric bikes are created.
Okay. So do you ride a bike when you go out now?
No, I only use it for short trips, like if I want to go around the lake for some exercise, and that's it. For longer trips, I do have a motorbike for it because I want to get there as quickly as possible, right? The purpose is not about doing exercise anymore,
Okay. So right. So why do some people in other countries like Japan so fond of using a bike?
Okay. Now, one of the reasons is the one that I've already mentioned, which is the health benefits that a bike can bring. But the second one, I think, is for environmental protection. A bike now can actually, doesn't pollute the environment like a motorbike would, right? It doesn't have any gas. So it's kind of an obvious thing,
Right.
Yes. Yeah. So I was gonna mention that with the seriousness of climate change and global warming these days, so it makes sense to have a bike like that.
So why some people they worried about or they pay attention to protecting the environment, why the other country just don't even pay attention to it?
Well, because sometimes if you want to focus too much on the environment, you have to sacrifice the economic benefits of it. Investing in bikes and other electric vehicles costs a lot of money. So this is something that most developed countries or countries with developed economics can do. But for developing countries like Vietnam, it doesn't really make sense to do so. It's better to just focus on, the medium household income that each person can have, and raising that is the way to go.
Okay, so let's talk about the developing countries. What do you think is a possible solution to encourage the citizens to to give them some incentives to protect to protect the environment in that sense?
Oh, that's a hard one. So this is something that most Western countries are doing. One of the ways to do it is they actually put a green tax on vehicles when you drive on the street. Their hope is that would encourage people to use their gasoline run vehicles out on the streets every day for to work or to school. Now, the effect of it, I'm not sure it's any good though. We'll need to wait for further research or statistics to come, whether that's actually an effective solution or not. So I'm still on the fence whether or not Vietnam should do something like that. I feel like it's super inconvenient to not have a bike or a motorbike to drive to work. Imagine you have to drive in the hot, under the hot sun, right? In the summer, on a motorbike, not a motorbike, on a bicycle to get to work. That's such a painful and exhausting experience, to be honest with you.
Okay, thank you very much. So I think like it's cover some part of the bike related topics. Before we move further, then let's greet our new friends, Isaac, right?
Hello.
Yeah, hello. Do I pronounce your name correctly, Isaac?
I believe so.
Okay, so can you introduce?
Okay.
Yeah, can you introduce yourself again a little bit so that we can get to know better?
Well, I think that this is the first time I see Ming, or
yes.
Allow me to say,
he's very handsome, right?
Nah.
That is true. Anyway, I'm living in Hanoi. I am as an IT.
You have a beautiful voice, right? Just like you. Right.
Thank a lot.
Very sexy.
Anyway, so I have a part-time
Sexy,
job and
yes.
working as an English teacher to teach some students. Well,
online
I already
teaching
got
mostly,
married.
or any face-to-face classes?
So next month I have a physical class for some students. Nowadays I have online classes online.
Okay, so mostly online now, right? But that will change next month. Exciting.
Yeah, really nice. Okay, so what is your like primary major? You primarily major in English or the other faculty?
So let me talk about my university. So back at the time I was a university student, I studied about mechanical, so basically machines and about
mechanical engineering
drawings. Okay, so I did not learn anything about language. But I guess that when I was first a student, I started practicing for the TOEIC test. And then after I graduated from university, I took the test and I got a band score of around 850.
That's
I worked
very
for
admirable
company. But you may know that TOEIC only focuses on grammar and listening skills on.
Sure.
And then I worked for a Korean company for more than 3 years. And then I returned Hanoi and worked for an Europe company for
European
2 years. I think that the time I worked for that company, because the company required me to use English to communicate with clients and other co-workers. It was a great chance for me to improve my communication skills and language skills. But now I am working for a bank. I use my mother tongue
okay.
with
pretty much
our
every day.
other people.
Yeah. Right. So what encourage what is the encouragement or motivation of you like learning and teaching English?
So it was a coincidence. 3 years back, when my wife, so she has been teaching English for more than 10 years.
Wait, what again? Pardon me?
She has been teaching English for more than 10 years.
10 years. 10 years. English teacher.
And 3 years ago, she had a class and she needed help. So she asked me if I can have her to teach her students. But I said okay. So I just so let's say I arrange and prepare lesson plans for the class. I also improve my English proficiency, meet up with the requirements. I think that from that time, so in the past, I did not think that I'm going to teach English. I just want to have a part-time job, a remote. Actually, I already had a remote job and I work with customers from other countries. So basically, it is customer service job. So I chat with customers, resolve the tickets from customer. But I think I already changed my mind. I came to teach English for students. Well, teaching is quite, you may know that are creative. It is, I think it's challenging as well, but it's very creative.
Sure. First, the thing that I really noticed that your voice really outstanding. So is it adopted or just you had it from the beginning?
I think that it was a long way. A lot of practice. So nowadays I use Elsa speak application to improve my pronunciation. Because
Okay.
the best way to improve your pronunciation, to pronounce the words properly, to communicate with native speaker. But I think that it's so impossible, right? Or it may cost a lot of money.
Sure.
Even though I have some native friends from the US and from Australia. However, when I meet in person in a restaurant or at a coffee shop, so you may know that the setting is quite noisy. So sometimes when I pronounce the words, my friends cannot listen to the words. So basically, the setting is very noisy. So just the last time we met, we went to a restaurant, a small restaurant. It could be I think that it is a cheese vendor and a lot of customers at the restaurant, and then we went to a coffee shop, but the setting was quite nice as well. We tried to raise our voice, and sometimes we could not. I think that we could not hear clearly what I said or what he said.
Wow, interesting. Right. Okay, so Hieu, let's ask him one more question, and now we come back to yes, your part. Yeah. So yes.
When did the love for English start?
Well, let me think. I suppose that when I was a university student, so when I started practicing for the TOEIC test.
Wow, interesting. So let me think. How about me then? I think like my love of English started quite early. It was like when I was in grade 6 or grade 7 at that time. My father so I was living, let me give you some background information first. I was living in the Phước Long province, which is a rundown city at that time. So at that time, my father just took me to a zoo, and I could have a chance to talk with another native speaker. So I mean another a native speaker. At that time, the only word that I could say is just hello and what's your name? I'm good, thank you. How about you? That's the thing. But of course, it's just so bad and horrible. But then the feeling of you saying a word that the other people can understand and then receive the encouragement from the other people is really ignited a fire in myself. At that time, I thought that, okay, if I could if I could have spoken English in a better way or more fluently, maybe I could communicate. I could have communicated with them better. So that's the reason why since that time I have been trying to hone my speaking skills, and like I think that the more I practice it, the more confident I feel when I communicate with other people, especially when we talk with the foreigners, and then you are the only one that can communicate with them. I think that's a big encouragement for me from the beginning. And as well, yeah, obviously, along the journey, there must be something, some other things, like the money that you receive from being a teacher, and the kind of the sensation that you get from teaching English to the other students. Those kind of things that's really they are a significant contribution to my love to English until now. And I guess Hieu, you share the same story, right?
My story is a little bit different because I was never really interested in English until year 11.
Yes.
School.
Yeah.
And my mom and I came up with the idea of studying abroad in the US. So obviously I was forced to study and get a 5.5 to meet the English entry requirements for the course. Right. So I spent around 6 months,
6 months.
Studying from pretty much ground zero.
Oh, okay.
But there was one person that inspired me to speak like that, and that was the teacher there.
Oh, okay.
She has an incredible English that I've never seen anyone in my life speak like that. A Vietnamese person speak like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Until now, or just at that time?
At the time, yeah. At the time, I was like, wait, a Vietnamese person can speak like this? Because I was seeing a lot of my English teacher at school, and they never spoke a word of English. They just teach some grammar lesson, and that's it. So I think a big part of having motivation to study English is actually being inspired by your teacher.
Sure.
So that's the model that I still have nowadays for my students.
Wow, what a profound story.
Fantastic.
Yes. Yeah,
I think
nice.
at the time she was an English lecturer at Hanoi University.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And working in the English center, which is her part-time job.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I was so impressed. And then there was one question she asked in class. Okay, and she asked, "Okay, Hieu, what is your dream in the future?" And I said, "My dream will be to speak exactly like you, if not better than you, in the future." That's literally what I said in the class.
Did you say it in Vietnamese or did you say
in English?
In English.
In Vietnamese, sorry, in Vietnamese.
You could say that in English.
No, I couldn't speak in English at the time.
Yeah, I don't think like you're gonna be
that fluent, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Right. Okay. Interesting. Hey guys. So now let's come back to this question. So now because he's gonna have the IELTS test in a couple of days later, so that's the reason why let's go to part 2 and part 3. I think that we should focus on part 3 only. Part 2, he's already is a master of it. So let's go ahead for part 3. And
you can ask Isaac some questions as well. Yeah,
sure.
Keep the conversation going.
I am very ready for part 3 questions.
Yeah.
Let's see how it is.
Yes, let's go. And before so during that time, Isaac, please, when I ask Hieu the question, please you can type it down some of your ideas, and then we can after we listen to Hieu's answers, we can also let's see how is your ideas. Do you agree? Sure.
Okay.
Right. So to make it very easy to follow, I suggest that we will proceed our I don't know how to put it in the right way, but anyway, we're gonna proceed like this. I will Q&A, then open okay, anyway, sure. So let's proceed, and then Isaac, please prepare for your answer. First question for Hieu then. Hieu, then which sport do you think most people like to do and why?
Most people like to do the obvious one in Vietnam is football. It's literally considered to be the king of sport. It's a sport that I think it's not an individual sport. It's actually a team sport, so it requires a very high level of coordination. And once a person scores a goal, right, it's a product of a lot of hard work and coordination between a lot of team members. That's why I think the sport is so well praised in our country. And not to mention the health benefit of doing a sport like that too, right? Children can become a lot taller, which is something that a lot of parents are interested in these days.
So what is the reason why some people just don't encourage their children to play extreme sports like football?
I don't think well, my personal opinion is that football is not an extreme sport, but that's just my opinion. Okay, let's just assume that football is an extreme sport. Then one of the reasons why people may not play it is because it can be the main reason for a lot of injuries, especially knee injuries. If you take a look at the data issued by the I think the American Medical Association or something, and you see that one of the major injuries for football and sport play in general is the torn ACL. Torn ACL is basically a ligament of your knee is torn, making your knee very unstable when walking and running, and basically you lose a lot of balance when doing any running at all. So I guess if parents know about this, then it's normal to forbid their children from playing sports like this. It's good. It's quite dangerous, and it takes around maybe like a year or so to heal for a person to fully run again. Funny thing is, my friend, one of my school friend, just had an ACL injury of maybe more than a week ago, when we were playing a football match together. Yeah, it's very sad for him, and the procedure is very expensive too. I think it costs around, if you don't have insurance, should cost around maybe like 80 to 70 million for surgery. Ridiculous.
And you are talking about like million dong, right?
Million dong, yeah, obviously.
Okay. So now let's talk. How has the way people enjoy doing sport changed until now?
Okay. Well, something I noticed is that is a lot more sort of indoor focus now. So instead of going out and for a run or a jog, people just hit the gym and run on a treadmill instead. I think part of the reason why is because of the pollution that we have here in Vietnam, especially in major cities like Hanoi, where it's become heavily polluted when walking out on the street without a mask. So it makes sense for them to just stay indoors and do these activities because the health benefits stay the same, right? You burn the same amount of calories. The only thing I would say is that it's a little bit distant from nature. One thing I like about running outside or taking a bike outside is that you can actually enjoy nature and enjoy the feeling of the cool breeze blowing and the wind blowing through your ears. That's a nice feeling. But I agree that not a lot of people, not all people enjoy things like that.
Okay, thank you. Right. So I think now let's come back to Isaac. Okay, Isaac, so can you share with us some of your preparation?
Well, to be honest, I didn't prepare anything for questions. I think that I can talk freely.
Okay, so let's share your opinion about Hieu's sharing. What do you think about it? You want to add something else based on his answer?
So when Hieu talk about extreme sports, can you repeat again the questions? I just want to make sure if I got the questions correctly.
Okay, so why do some parents just don't encourage their children to play some extreme sports like football?
Like football.
Yeah. And Hieu's answers was that he didn't perceive football as an extreme sport, but he assumed, he said that let's assume it at its worst an extreme sport. Then he explained that maybe it would cause some kind of physical injuries, and then leading to some permanent injuries for your whole life, or it's gonna cost a huge amount of money to fix it. So now what's your opinion on that point?
Okay, so in my opinion, I suppose that there are some children, they are over jealous for extreme sports. However, when you do extreme sports, so those sports are very risky. You can get injuries, or you can break your arm, or maybe your leg, or maybe you get chronic pains, and it takes a lot of time to alleviate the symptoms of your injuries. So you need to have some kind of protections, and I believe that are not
some kind of what
protection.
protection.
Protection. Okay, so I understand that so you need to have some facility to protect yourself from getting injuries. So it could be
What can
I
you do?
think that
What some protection can you have?
it could be a helmet or maybe something to cover your elbow, your knee.
Yes. Okay.
Right. So I suppose that when you do some extreme sport, you have to pay for some facilities to protect yourself. Okay.
Well, in my experience as a football player, the best way to prevent injuries from playing football or any other sports is to warm up. If you have proper warm-up session before you play a match, then the body is used to the intensity of the run and of the movement, and then you're much less likely to be injured on the field.
Yes. I think that's really makes sense, because like when you stretch out your body, your muscle will like doing like at the same time it will do the warm up. And as you can see, I'm not an expert in this field, so the only thing that I can say is that warming up can really protect our body from getting injured suddenly. So that's I think that's all I can say. So now let's go to the next one. So the last question I want to ask you about the topic were like sport. Then what's the difference between watching sport on TV and watching it live? And Hieu, yes, what do you think?
How about Isaac answer first? Yeah, change it up a bit.
Okay, so Isaac, so what do you think? What's the difference between watching sports on TV and watching it live?
Well, in my opinions, I believe that watching sports on TV is very convenient or even any time saving. You can stay indoor, stay at home, and then turn on your TV to watch the sports. Or it's very simple. If you want to rewatch the sport games on the internet. However, if you go to a football stadium or you watch a sport live, I think that you can immerse yourself with our other audiences. You can see the players, how they move the ball, or how they perform. They show their skills. And I think that is a unique experience, and you enjoy the game, and then you laugh out loud or you show your excitement. Basically, it is a collective experience when you watch sport live.
Okay. Yeah. Hieu, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that makes perfect sense. I have been to a real sport match before, and the atmosphere is completely different from watching it at home. It's a lot more exciting, and you actually hear the scream and the shouts of the players on the pitch. That's what makes it 10 times better.
Okay. Yeah. So why do some people prefer watching sports at home rather than going out at the stadium?
I mean, it's obvious because it's more convenient, right? You don't have to, you can save time on traveling to the actual sports stadium. And it's cheaper, obviously, because you don't have to pay for the ticket, especially if you have been to a major tournament or match before. Then you will see that let's say the final between Vietnam and some other Southeast Asian countries, you know, some our rivals like Thailand, for example, tickets can cost around maybe like 10 million the ticket, and it's a significant amount, you know. So if you are not exactly rich, then it just doesn't really make sense to spend that much money on a single match.
Okay. Yeah. Isaac, do you agree with that?
For sure, I am with you.
Do you have any other opinion to add on?
I think you have no further ideas. It is
Mm,
absolutely true when we watch a sport game live. I understand. We all understand that if we watch a sport at home, so we can save up money. So we need to spend money to buy tickets, especially for some big matches. The tickets can be very expensive, or basically it's very hard for you to buy a single ticket. And you may know that there are a lot of audiences and the atmosphere will be very crowded. But if you watch at home, you do not spend time to travel to the place.
Yeah, so me too. I think that so I was thinking about that's kind of direction. It's like when you watch the sport what's the sports like footballs at home with your friends or family, it like you and your family are sharing a quality time, an intimate time with each other, and to me that is invaluable. And why do I say so? When you go out with your friends, it's just like you are sharing an atmosphere with the other people. So you shout out with the other friends, or shout out with the other people, the one that you don't know, or you know. But when you are at home, you just or you are surrounded by your friends and relatives and family members. To me, is the time that you can be yourself, and then you can also like just release the animals in your body, just enjoy the vibe, and don't even pay attention to the other people, because they are just that your family member, and they're the one that really understand you. So I guess that's one more thing I want to add on when it comes to this topic. Right. So Hieu, do you want to answer any questions here? You want to give it a try, or we move to another topic?
Let's move to another topic, I think.
Sure. With that, then let's go. So what is your lucky number? What is your lucky number from 1 to 10?
Lucky number. My lucky number is 7.
7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Something about famous people. Okay. So so let's talk about this topic, Hieu. All right. So Isaac, please ask Hieu question number 1 then.
Can you please send me the questions?
Okay, sure. Okay. My bad.
Displayed on the screen, bro.
Yeah, it's on the screen here. It's on the screen. All right. So yes, Isaac, please ask Hieu the first question.
All right. So we are going to talk further about famous people. The first questions. Do you think media is putting too much attention on famous people?
Not enough even. Because that's their job, right? In order to get views and earn money, the media needs to report on what the public is interested in. And that includes famous people who have millions of fans, right? So it's a reasonable and sensible thing to do. There's nothing wrong with that, I don't think.
Can you give an example for that?
Sure. So a good example of this is I don't watch a lot of music videos, so I don't know a lot of singers here in my country. But when I think of celebrities or famous people, I just think of politicians. And I follow American politics quite closely. So one of the famous one is the current president of the United States, Joe Biden.
Joe Biden.
Yeah, and the media has reported a lot of news about currently about his mental health, given how he's already 18 years of age and have showing signs of dementia, or slow movement, and very slow ability to think on the fly. It's not sharp in his mind, and as somebody, let's say in their 30s or something. So yeah, but somehow people still vote for this guy to be president, which is very surprising to me.
Sure. So, so let's talk about that. So, why do you think is that's the case here? Like, why do you think like the crowd, the public would vote for someone and not the other one?
So I think was it 3 years ago? There was a presidential election between Donald Trump and Joe Biden, right? Trump was so much sharper in his words, and sometimes he can be quite very blunt and direct. And given how our society has become so sensitive with people, with straightforward people like that, it should come as no surprise as to why Trump couldn't win the support from American people. And I think a part to play also belong to the media as well. They report a lot of false information on Donald Trump, which was one of the reasons why the Democratic Party, that of Joe Biden, won the election.
Okay. Yeah. So, Isaac, what about you? Do you have another perspective?
So the questions you asked about some people who do vote for that person,
yeah,
and some person they do not vote for that person, right?
So if we took it, if we take it in a broader view, then why are some people like getting the notice and the attention from the crowd while the other don't?
Well, to be honest, it is a tough question, very hard to explain. I think that is natures about human natures. Many people, even myself, sometimes I tend to gravitate to crowded people. I mean that I follow other people's ideas without no reasons, because I just want to make sure that I don't be let alone. I don't want to go to another direction. But sometimes we need to stand up and raise your voice. We need to spouse our ideas. Maybe sometimes my ideas can be different with other, and if they do not understand, I may receive a lot of criticisms from other. But I need to keep my perspective, my ideas, and I need to be persistent. So yeah, so that is all my answer.
Do you think it would be better to be open-minded and ready to change your ideas if you feel like you may be in the wrong, or you don't have enough evidence to support your opinion?
Well, sure. I think that it is a good idea for us to be open-minded. So especially young people, I think that it is easy for them to change their mind in some circumstances, to learn new things, learn new skills. However, for elderly people, they are quite close-minded. But in my opinion, we always need to learn new things, or at least some basic things like how to improve our health, how to have a good lifestyle, how to have a good diet. So being open-minded is a good thing for us.
From my perspective, I think like it really depends on what level of mastery that you are having when it comes to this problem. So, for example, let's talk about like,
what do you mean?
Learning about in like you work in the company that you are, let's say you are working at the entry-level jobs, and the only thing that you know is how to like do the easy steps, like to like you work in the McDonald's and you know how to make a hamburger. So so the only thing that you need to know is that you need to learn new things. You need to adapt to new environment and learn the procedures rather than to create your own. And because of that reason, then you need to be open-minded so that the other can teach you something new. If you close your mind at that time, you would you will not learn anything new, and as a result, you would not go anywhere. However, if you are the top like executive of a company, let's say you can be you can be the director of a company, or you are in the board, you are a board members of the company, then if you are so open-minded to everything new, anything new, then you just want to adopt it into your company, you want to give it a try. As a result, then your company, the members of your companies, the staff would not know where are you going, why you're trying to share the company ship to. And that, to me, this is not a good thing to do, because still the employees at that time, they want to have a majority of them, I believe, they would like to have a secure job perspective, rather than working in a environment filled with like changes from day in and day out. So yeah, that's what I think. Hieu, what about you? What do you think?
Think about being open-minded.
Well,
Now
being
I
open-minded for do something new.
Yeah, so personally, I used to be quite close-minded in the past. But once I got to listen to some videos about psychology and opinions on both sides on different political issues, I start to think that if I only believe in one thing, I start to have confirmation bias.
Confirmation bias.
The confirmation bias is the idea that whenever you believe in something, you will start looking for information to only support your opinion or the thing that you believe in. And you stop looking for opposing views. And that's a very dangerous notion, because once you study and prepare for the IELTS, or even teach IELTS, right? You need to think in terms of, you need to have critical thinking and think of both views from two sides of the aisle, right? So that's when I start to change the way I think about the world or different issues around me.
Sure.
And I feel that there is not necessarily a right or wrong opinion, okay? But it's just simply a well-supported one, and whether you can actually give evidence and convincing explanation as to why you think that, and that's good enough. And it's okay to agree to disagree. It means you can agree that you can be friends, and friends can have different opinions. You don't have to agree on everything in life to be friends.
Yeah, that makes sense. You don't have to get the 100% consensus among the other people, because if that's the case, then there's nothing new. So next, let's go to the next question then. I'm about to because I'm about to leave in a couple of minutes, so I would try to ask the last question. Why do some people become famous but not successful? And I want to give this one to Isaac then you're gonna be the last one. Yeah, Isaac, let's go.
Okay, so it is an interesting question, because nowadays I believe that there are different ways for people to be well known. You may know that after one night, a person can be well known by something that she or he already done on the internet. For example, release a song, but that person sing that song a very different way with original versions. Or that person talks about a controversial topic and receive a lot of attention from other people. So that person can be famous after just one night. Or nowadays there are a lot of reality shows on TV or competition shows on TV, and even
candidate,
someone contestants. Okay, so contestants receive the first prize. So after one night, that person can be very famous. But I am not sure after the competition that person can be very successful with his or her career. But I can see some examples, like in Vietnam, there are some music competition shows, and the winner of the shows after the competition, I did not release any great songs, maybe even after a few years.
Okay. Yes, it's a popular phenomenon happening in Vietnam. So how about you, Hieu? Why do some people become famous but not successful?
And I think you can see this quite clearly in the rise of TikTok videos. So many young people start to make some very silly videos, but somehow the algorithm of the social media platforms just supports and advertise the videos and put it on the sort of trending session, which made it that millions of people actually watch it. And a lot of kids these days actually become an internet sensation overnight because of it. And this doesn't really mean that they have any talent in particular, right? It just means that they somehow make some silly, let's say, dancing videos, right, in front of the camera, or they are, very good looking in some way, and somehow they got the views. Now, the views or the attention of these people doesn't really translate into success, because it's actually somewhat of a skill to know how to monetize your talent, right, or your fame, and not many people actually know how to do that. And TikTok I believe has not developed a feature where you can actually make money from your views. So unlike YouTube, YouTube is a different platform. So TikTok doesn't allow you to do that, right? So that's why it's true that even if you are famous and known by so many people, you're not very successful.
Yeah, in that sense, right? Thank you. Right. It's a beautiful answer.
All right. So I think it's time for us to say our goodbyes.
Goodbye, everyone.
Yeah, goodbye, and
see you back maybe hopefully soon.
Right? Yeah. So like the other day, if you guys have some free time, then let's have another section like this. Right. So that's it. Let's call it the end, and we see each other next time. Bye.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
Right.
Goodbye.
I'll see ya.
See ya.
Minho, one second.
Okay, I'm here.
So for the recorded file, where is it located?
I guess it will be in your computer. You can find
somewhere.
Yeah, let me remember. Oh, you can go into the Zoom setting.
Okay, I see. Let me check.
Okay, document folder, and then you can see Zoom folder, and the file is placed in that folder.
It's gonna be a default unless you change it into another place.
Okay. All right, gotcha.
Recording.
Got it.
It's in the recording. Yeah, sure.
I'll find it. No problem.
Sure. Okay.
All right. Have a great night. Bye-bye.
Great night.
Goodbye.
See you later. Bye-bye. Peace.